Alrighty, boys. Welcome back, Ringside Nation. The Ring Boys are back. Down one on the night again. But we got my boy Artie here. Artie, how we feeling?
Back hurt.
Same.
Feelings hurt.
Same.
Just
wallet hurts.
We have to be here. Yeah.
Victor Petrino makes it hurt.
Yes, he does.
Man, that sucked. UFC 301 in Rio de Janeiro. Hot event, no fight of the night, 4 performance bonuses, which we'll get into here shortly. On your screen are the picks. For all of you pod listeners, yearly overall accuracy, Artie 103 for 185, myself 108 for 185, Doc 104 for 185. Pay-per-view accuracy, Artie 40 for 63, me 41 for 63, Doc 35 for 63. He's a fight night merchant. Yeah, all the picks are on your screen, so pause now or forever hold your peace. We're gonna move on here and have this conversation. But we'll have the conversation of why Pantoja is just an absolute animal and why Steve Erceg couldn't find his groove until probably late in the 4th round. Artie, you and I were talking behind the scenes, and you felt like he held his own at some point. So I'll let you discuss right away what your thoughts are on our main event.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the 125-pound division, it is pretty clear at this point that there's going to be wrestling. So when you come into it, you've got to expect very high-level wrestling, and I think Steve Erceg did as good as he could do, but Pantoja's just so good on the ground. His takedowns were pretty clean, and he didn't land that many for accuracy's sake, but when he did get him down, he obviously, if you look at the control time, he was up by a lot, and Erceg could not get out. He would have him against the cage or in the middle of the mat, and Erceg couldn't do anything about it. So, besides that, I think Steve Erceg kind of held his own on his feet, though. So now I think it's pretty clear what the formula should be against Pantoja. If you have good defense against takedowns and you're able to strike very well on your feet, you're going to do very well against him. But if you can't do those two things, you're going to have a tough night. And I was saying to Alex right before we started, the 49-46 was kind of weird. I do think Steve had 2 rounds for sure. I would give him the 4th, and at least the 3rd, but that could be questionable. So I think the 48-47s were pretty accurate. But outside of that, Alexandre, I think everybody was expecting a more dominant performance, and this is kind of where we are. This either proves the lightweight division top 10 is pretty stacked, or maybe the champion will be champion for too much longer. But we'll see, because he said he won't fight again until December, so that's a whole other thing. So I'll let you have it, Alex.
I agree with you fully, dude. Like, it wasn't like we all thought Pantoja, except for you. You thought Steve was going to pull one, and more power to you. I thought, what a place in Rio against the champ. Like, no one would ever expect it. Sean Strickland style, come in and steal the belt. But that wasn't the case at all. He said on the pre-show, we talked about it, that he was eating a bucket of KFC chicken while he got the call for this. So that just goes to show maybe he didn't have the right training camp, maybe the right mindset, but I'm still going to be rocking with my boy Wonder Boy. He moved up 1 rank in the rankings, so he's up to 9 now, and I do agree with that. Poor Tim Elliott, but he'll be active soon. But yeah, Pantoja, absolute dog. Wonder who's next for him, whether it's going to be Muhammad Makayev or someone else. We'll wait to see. Like you said, he's going to fight in December. I think that'll probably be in Vegas. We'll see what Dana has in store. But yeah, Pantoja, my lock, covers. Shout out to everyone who tailed that. Shout out to Artie for taking a risk on Steve. I was debating on it myself. And in the end, the Brazil atmosphere proved to be royal, and he showed up. And the other aspect of the Brazilian atmosphere is Jose Aldo showing up and knocking back the ring rust to get the unanimous decision against Jonathan Martinez. And man, Aldo gets this win, slips back into the rankings into number 8. Feel bad for Jonathan Martinez? Question mark? Maybe not so much. Artie, let me know what your thoughts are on that.
I do not feel bad for Jonathan Martinez. You should be performing against a guy who hasn't been in the octagon for 2 years now, right? Is that accurate?
I think 3 maybe. No, 2022. Okay. So yeah, 2 years.
So I mean, here's like to Jose, like he obviously was very active. He did do boxing, which is outside of what he usually will do. But the dude came in, ring rust or no ring rust, he proved why he is the GOAT. Like, this was no question about it whatsoever. He deserved this win. It was like a whooping. Like, he basically daddied him. So, Jonathan Martinez, sorry, buddy. That sucks, but can't do anything about it. Alex?
Yeah, this is definitely not the fighter that we saw go against Marab, and all power to Marab. Marab's a different machine, but this was more of Jose Aldo that I saw against like Rob Font. I know that was a controversial one, maybe potentially, but he looked like he was back in his groove. Everyone was saying this was going to be his retirement party, but now like maybe we see Jose Aldo quicker than we know. I wouldn't hate that.
Especially him at number 8. Maybe Cejudo, maybe that could be something they could do.
I was just about to say the same thing. Like
Loser retires.
loser drops the gloves. Loser drops the new gloves in the ring instantly.
Yeah,
that'd be poetic. That'd be so poetic. But no. All jokes aside, good to see Jose back, King of Rio for a reason, and he got the job done. And behind the scenes, Artie, if you could hit that bell, that was a ringer from the Ring Boys. We all had Jose Aldo. And if you could so kindly follow that up with a what if you want, because Vitor Petrino just absolutely getting submitted by Anthony Smith baffles me. It baffles me. This was like this and Michelle Pereira was like my so surefire thing. But I was like, if I take Vitor Petrino or Michelle Pereira, I'm going to get roasted for my lock for taking too high of lines. So I wouldn't pay attention. But man, Anthony Smith, I know what I said on the pod. I'm sticking with it. You got lucky to an extent, to a degree. I don't think Vitor Petrino is his normal self. You took the undefeated streak from him, but I still want to see you commentating. I don't want to see you fight anymore. Like, I'm sorry. I have a vendetta against Anthony Smith. You laugh all you want, but it pissed me off. Artie?
I don't think he got lucky. Vitor came in and he was overly aggressive for a guy who will pull guard and do things like he did in the octagon and be what was Dustin tweeting? Gilly Goose. It was pretty valid. He like Vitor stuck his head into his arms basically after he threw a strike. So lucky, unlucky, it doesn't matter. Anthony Smith with the W, and he can continue telling everybody that he's going to be the only person to ever beat Alex Pereira square. So maybe we live that out, but maybe he just goes back to commentating and never fights again. I'll be happy either way. I mean, how long can this dude's contract be? I don't even know at this point. Maybe he volunteers to fight. Does he even get paid anymore?
Doing this
What are
for
we
free?
doing?
Brother just loves to fight so much. Throw me in the ring and let's get it going. He's drinking like Starbucks coffees in his post-fight interview. It's like Rio, like it's 3 a.m. What are you doing? Go to bed, dude.
Yeah, he's wild. He's a wild man. He will continue to throw out wild things when like whatever podcast he's doing. But Anthony Smith is Anthony Smith. He came out, he won. Seasoned veteran. I guess that's what we get.
I'm just glad I'm watching him fight someone who's not Ryan Spann twice and like getting knocked out by Khalil. Like it was a waste of time. No, but I don't know. I think maybe Petrino had the wrong mindset. I just feel like plus 425. Like if you took Anthony Smith, you did it last minute. You're not going to convince me otherwise that you thought going into this Anthony Smith had any shot. But more power to him. He got the job done. No performance bonus for the first 3 fights. No fight of the night so far. And if you watch the Tom Brady roast, you know what Dana got told. So we'll keep it PG on the pod. But first performance of the night bonus we'll talk about is my boy Michelle Pereira. That was insane. I mean, Michelle Pereira, it's the year of Michelle Pereira and Joshua Van, in my opinion. And Michelle Pereira. Like, no one more deserving of fighting in Brazil and getting the win. And you kind of do feel bad for Igor Peteria, but I wonder if he's still going to adhere and fight in Saudi, because he's still booked to fight against. I forget who it was. I'll have to look it up on the side while you discuss. But Michelle Pereira, end the story. Ringer for the Ring Boys. Go ahead.
Yeah, ring it for the ring boys. Like, there will never be anything more entertaining than a knockdown followed by a backflip stomp on whatever body part he lands on. This dude is like, he's just pure entertainment. I don't care what Dana says. He says no dancing out to the ring. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. I don't care. Let this man do it because he can fully deserve to do it. He's not just like, he is flashy and everything, but the dude wins. He wins, and now he's in the top 15. So, I think he's what, 31, 32, top 15. Who knows what it holds for him. He's also a really big dude for 185 too. So it'll be interesting as we watch Michel Pereira's career fold out, but I'm here for it because it's been entertaining every step of the way. Alex.
It was Shara Bullet, and apparently he's still booked to fight him in Saudi on June 22nd, but I think that's fake. So
it's getting canceled 100%.
Yeah,
There should be a
I wouldn't
medical advisory or whatever they put, like, for 30 days after they lose.
I wouldn't fight again if I was Ihor. What just happened to me, you know what I mean? I'd take my time with that one. Michel Pereira, hope to see you soon. I'm not going to try to predict who Michel Pereira will fight, even though I do have a habit of doing that. But, Michel Pereira. Delidze. Jack Hermanson's up there. We got options. We got options for my boy Michel Pereira to keep this hot streak. Dana, let him do it. Other performance of the night, Gael Bravo. Give a golf clap to you while my boy already hits the bell for us here. I'll start this and I'll take the limelight off of Kyle. Is this the downfall of Paul Craig, you think? Let me come in with another perspective. You think Paul Craig, do you think he's starting to slip potentially?
What do you mean starting?
After that Brendan Allen loss?
Dude, it's been a while coming. He is an old man in a young man's sport, and he's good. His style doesn't fit the UFC. It's just, I think it's very apparent at this point. And if you want me to keep going, I can, because I think Powell is going to be one of the best middleweights given time, because he's really young. He's under a really good team, and he is also somebody who now proved that he can do both. Because his thing really was submission, like wrestling, right? BJJ. But he came out there and that was ugly. That was ugly for Paul Craig. So I don't know. I think this is a big deal. So he was at 14 before, moved up to 12, and that division is so stacked from that from the top 15 is just absolutely insane. Every single name you look at. So I'm not sure who he would fight next, but he is good. He is very good. If I am in the, anywhere from 10 to 5, I'm going to be not taking that fight for as long as possible. So we might not see him fight for a while, or maybe something really quick will come up. Maybe Marvin Vittori, maybe he needs a little bit of a comeback and, show he still belongs because he's still young, but he's coming off a couple of tough fights. So we'll see. Should be exciting, though. Another Brazilian that's going to be just running through the rankings. So
we'll definitely be keeping an eye on him. I was going to make that same shout. Him versus Marvin Vittori. Vittori needs time to heal from the injury for a bit longer. Now he's going to need time for just fighting. Why not? Let's shake up the rankings a bit there. He's part of the fighting nerds, right? That camp's just insane. I'm so pissed. I'm so pissed about William Gomes. I hope he's doing all right. But you took a Jan Siva dog barking fight away from me. I'm upset about that. I'm gonna be salty about that for a bit. But Cabral, the golf clap to you, sir. The performance bonus for you. And we'll hope you enjoy your 12th spot in the rankings. That's the entirety of the main card. Shouts to Anderson Brito, Jakar Close, Ishmael Bonfim for those ringers. We'll hit those real quick. Upset with Kevin Borjas. Overall performance, Alessandro Costa. Again, in the words of me and Artie, we are not familiar with your game. He gets a performance bonus. I think there was someone else. Was it Roofy? It was Roofy, right? That got the performance
Yeah.
bonus. Man, that Roofy, was it Roofy that went for the crazy leg kick, like with the
Yeah.
sweep? I haven't seen anything like that in a while. But
Yeah, and you know what? I will still say JD Malarkey was somebody who was a very big prospect coming into the UFC, and that was part of the reason why I did choose him. But I don't know, I think Jamie's just on such a bad streak. I wouldn't be surprised if he see his name come up on the roster watch sooner than later if it doesn't turn around because things aren't going great. One other shout, Drakkar Close, that was rough. That was rough. I if listen, if he wasn't a prospect, he does not get that decision. Just personal opinion. Another shout I'm gonna give to Ellis Brenner. Close, but no cigar. That was tough. Uh, Mikdebek really, really gassed out. I was shocked, and I don't know what it was, but for a dude whose base is like so heavy on wrestling, that was kind of crazy to see him just gas out. And that's all I had for shouts on this one.
I didn't think I thought Mick Tibek was going to finish his dinner. Like I took Elvis Brenner because Doc convinced me behind the scenes of the pod. I'm not saying I was swayed in any way, shape, or form. I thought he could have easily gotten it done. Uh, but I thought Earl was going to get it done. Like I didn't think that one was going to decision. I was watching the highlights of that one and just looking at the overall strikes. Like you said, he's based wrestling, but he had the hands going and got to be able to finish your dinner in the UFC if you want to get paid, in my opinion. So what's crazy is this was a lightweight fight, right? So like Mick Tibek was what fighting 185, 170 originally, and he dropped all this weight down. He's still like, I wonder if that has to do something with his gas tank? Question mark. What do you think about that?
It could possibly, but for a dude who's 26, it looks like a caveman. He'll be all right. I mean, just I don't know. I think in with like if that's true, if it was a weight issue because he did have to cut down so far, dude, William Gomez, that was like hard to watch. If anybody watched that, that was awful. Something needs to change in the UFC, and I don't know how it will happen, what they will do, but this is not good. We're getting lesser performances out of fighters who we know are very, very good. We're getting people like William Gomez who can barely walk and stand, and I still don't understand how he was that far under the weight either. Like something was going wrong. His team, you got to keep a closer eye. That was really hard to watch. So I'm hoping something changes. Like we said before, maybe after UFC 300, we would see some new things. They brought in the new gloves, but hopefully we get some other changes because I think we're long overdue. There's a lot of weight bully talk that's been going on the last 2 years.
Yeah. And it's just like upsetting because like he vomits behind the scenes. The doctors were reporting that he was like being monitored and they ruled it as an illness, but it's obviously just a bad weight cut. The thing that I'm concerned about, it's like you didn't check on him when he got to the venue and be like, yeah, buddy, we're not letting you do this. Like, you're clearly not good to go. Like, how did you let him walk out and embarrass him and nearly fall on stage? Like, I don't know. Like,
Wait,
he's,
don't they do the weigh-ins at the hotels now?
I think so. Now that they do the media day, they make sure they do it at the hotel so everyone's there and accountable. And then they do the weigh in the same lobby or wherever they set up or wherever the fight hotel is at.
So
That's apparently the new
that's
rule.
that's not then it's not on the UFC team. This is fully on his team for letting whatever happened happened. I feel bad for him. Like, if you're monitoring this guy, I mean, I'm sure they weigh in at least once an hour just to make sure that the weight is still going down. So it looked like he was still cutting weight before because he came on there like super sweaty and everything. So, dude, I don't know. It was just not a good look.
He did not look good at all. That's end of story. Like, hope he's all right. I'd be shocked if we see him fight before the end of the year. And if we do, just out of the name of the game and the name of the story, I'm picking him. I don't care if he's like if he's plus 500. I'm rooting for the boy to figure it out. But yeah, no, I agree with you fully. Hopefully, we see some doctor changes, some team changes, some more regulations, something, because that was not great. Other thing that wasn't great, just my boy Vink Fickle getting absolutely just dotted up. Ishmael Bunfield. I was watching that fight, the car ride over, and it was just, man. You're just letting him beat up on a 41-year-old. Like, mind you, this guy has a chin. Like, I give him everything in the world. I could never do this. I could never take one punch. Everyone always says the common, like, yeah, 100K per punch from prime Mike Tyson. How many punches you taken? The average UFC fighter, you know how many punches I'm taking already? Zero. That's the right answer. And to just take, like, what was it, 112 strikes of just pure misery, man. I handed to him. He held in there. Hopefully he got paid. Hopefully he got a nice bag to the head. And yeah, man, this Rio card makes you like. I don't think this was a bad card, but it's like when we just had 300, we just had 299. Like, I just feel bad for all these fighters, like fighting in their home country, ready to go. And I know you had the lock of the card for the submissions being over 6. But it just seemed like there are a lot of decisions. No, like there wasn't that much action for a pay-per-view until we got to the main card. Like, that's at least how I felt.
Yeah, I agree. And maybe my pick should have been submissions. That's too easy though. And we're in Brazil, where a lot of Brazilian fighters are on the card, and a lot of them are BJJ specialists. Why am I not getting more submissions? Come on, man. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's part of it is, how do you follow up 300, and how do you live up to 302, which so far seems to be like it's going to be a powerhouse? How do you live to that Conor McGregor card at the end of June too? Like, it's just tough. You can't get the most impressive product every single time, but we can also maybe get some better matchmaking as well. I don't know. I feel like that the number to a lot of people's names when they're ranked just makes them be so cautious about taking with a fight with anybody who's not ranked. And I guess that's what the prelims are for. But like, I don't know. We need
What?
better matchmaking, in my
But,
opinion.
well, prime example of that, like next weekend, Menafield, who's like 11 versus Carlos Alberg. Like, why would you take that? You know what I mean? It's just it depends on the division. It depends on where people are at. But like, I don't know. I I fully agree with you. I'm so excited for Robellis and Waldo Cortez Costa. I want to see Robellis just murder him. I think there are still a lot of really good fights, but when you talk about just the overall card quality, it's like you're like, okay, I'm interested in these few, and I'm gonna go about my day. Like, we haven't had like okay, I'm sitting at 6 p.m. and I'm falling asleep on this couch unless something crazy happens. Like, I'm gonna be butt to chair, not going anywhere because I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of people taking fights with people who are much further ranked within them, announcement yesterday: Corey Sandhagen versus Nurmagomedov in Abu Dhabi as the main event on August 3rd. What an announcement! I was so hyped. I literally saw the tweet and I texted it to you and Doc, and like, I am so excited because the next Abu Dhabi card, right? Whitaker versus Chimaev looks really good. And then I can only assume that that one is also going to be pretty stacked. So I guess we'll see. Right? Am I saying that right? Whitaker versus Chimaev isn't. Uh,
It's a Abu Dhabi, but it's on ABC. It's not pay per view.
okay.
Because then the
Yeah.
next
Well, yeah.
next week
Fight
is the
night.
McGregor card, so they're probably
Yeah.
going to stack that card. That's what I was going to say. 303. I feel like McGregor's at the top. I feel like people are going to want to be on that card because, how long does Conor McGregor actually have? And will Conor McGregor actually keep his act together by June? And I know we're only have a little bit over a month here, but stranger things have happened. I want to see Conor McGregor fight as much as everyone does, as the common UFC fan. But I'm more excited for that Corey Sandhagen Umar fight than I am for the McGregor fight, to be honest. Like that title contender eliminator in Abu Dhabi, and all the people who were, relaxing from Ramadan and not training as much and didn't make it on the June card or on the other card. If they don't make it for the August card, we still got October. So I'm really ready to see what Abu Dhabi has in store. I mean, we signed a long-term deal. They signed a long-term deal. We're going to have events there. We got Perth this year. We got hopefully not Apex fights. I know we got one in Kentucky. We got one all over the place. So I just want to see variety. I know that's harder to do with the colder weather, but it's summertime, man. We're outside and we want to see some fights and we want to get it going.
Yeah. And I don't know. I'm just overall pretty excited for this one. And the reason why I was so excited too, I saw that I instantly messaged you guys is I was just recently, for whatever reason, I think I saw something about with Corey Sandhagen in it, and it was like maybe a podcast or something like that. It's like, man, it has been a while since that dude has fought, and he is in a division that's pretty stacked, and I feel like he was going to be up for the title shot next no matter what, but depending on who loses, because he's number two. He's more deserving than most others in that weight category. So that would have been pretty exciting. And then we got some other news today. Let me pull up the rankings really quick.
While you pull that up, Corey Sandhagen also just has like the highest fighter IQ. Like I've listened to him on the podcast. I've listened to him like on the weigh-in shows that he was on recently for, I think it was for 300 or whatever event it was. Like he's just smart, and like that's how you get up the ranks. That's how you get in the conversation for title. Just like Steve Erceg, like his rank doesn't actually determine like how wise he is. Yeah, he wasn't ready for prime time. He was riding the streak and riding the hype train. He couldn't get it done. But I hope Corey Sandhagen can show, when you have the intangibles and you have the fighting IQ, hopefully you can have the belt. What were you going to mention?
Yeah, I was gonna say Umar might get fraud checked here. I think we've talked about this before, and I was like, there's always a couple of guys in every division, no matter what rank they are at. You don't want your favorite fighter to fight them because there's a very high likely chance that they're gonna lose, and this is one.
Mm-hmm.
If Umar needs to be the most prepared he's ever been in his life for this fight, because Corey, like you said, the fighter IQ is out of this world. If he wins this and wins the title, he will be a champion for a very long time, because every time he shows up, he has a great game plan. The other thing I was going to mention is, and I'm sure maybe you saw it, maybe not, but Movsar Evloev talking about saying that he was going to be fighting Aljamain Sterling, but I'm waiting to see that contract signed and the UFC putting a post about it. That'd be sick. That's like a good turnaround for Mozart. The problem is the people who refuse that MMA is mixed martial arts are all going to be mad the fact that there's going to be some very, very high level wrestling in a fight that will most likely go to a decision because of these two guys' styles. But I don't know. I don't care. I still want to see this pretty bad. And I think if Aljo wins this, he will solidify that he belongs in 145. So I'm here for it.
It's also just like the state of the bantamweight division is not maintaining people, but Umar is definitely coming up the ranks, right? This is a perfect fight that we're so hyped for this. Peter Yan just got the win, but he's not there for the title fight yet. Merab has precedence over him. Merab's obviously going to fight Sean O'Malley, and that's going to be the belt. If Merab wins and Umar wins, and Umar goes against Merab right away, I'd be a little upset. Like, I don't think that's going to be like, yeah, that would be a sick fight, but I don't think that would be I don't think that's the right way to make matchmaking. I know this is like way down the future. This is probably not going to happen this year in any way, shape, or form. And like you mentioned, Movsar Evloev, talking about Aljo, we'll see the contract, but the bantamweight division, Sean O'Malley, man, you got some real tough sons of guns coming for that belt, and you better really be working with Tim Welch on that ground and not on a bong and podcast. I'm really excited. I see permutations all over the place for fights that I'm not going to go into. When I initially thought, like, obviously he fought, Almahat or Almakan, whatever bro's name that they just signed just for him, and he struggled and couldn't finish him off. I thought he was going to get like Henry Cejudo next. And when I saw him get announced for his Corey Sandhagen, I'm like, yeah. We need 5 rounds for that for sure. I don't want to watch him and Henry Cejudo just tangle for 3 rounds.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, but we'll have to wait and see. 302, June 1st, in New Jersey, Islam will fight Dustin Poirier. We got a couple fight nights in between. My boy Derek Lewis is fighting next weekend. Hyped for that. What? Why are you shaking your head?
He's got to have the most main events in the UFC. He can be close.
He's so marketable.
Who is he fighting?
Rodrigo?
Yeah, dude. I am like, where are these heavyweights coming from? We don't want anymore. Stop.
I will say Ruzboyev Buckley on that card, I think is going to be fight of the night, and Robella is going to be fun. And then we got Edson Barboza fighting Lerone Murphy on the main card for that.
You're not going to mention Alonzo Manafield versus Carlos Ulberg? You're not excited for that?
We talked about that already. I just said that's a great.
Okay, my fault. No,
Chase
Hooper versus Borshev, pretty cool. Terrence McKinney's on this one too. Baby Shark's on it.
Baby Shark do.
Not bad for a fight card, but
Charles Johnson, trying to get on that hype train. Yeah, we'll have to see.
We'll talk about it next week, right?
Yes, we will. Follow us on the socials. We've been doing our best. We've been busy. It's summertime. We're outside. We're doing this for you guys, for the common man, by the common man. We do this for you, Ringside Nation. Artie, anything else you want to say before we sign off here?
Just that I'm looking at the Fight Center on ESPN, and it's telling me that I can get tickets as low as $1,019 for the T-Mobile Arena for Connor versus Chandler.
Hold up. Let me put in this parlay real quick. We'll be front row recording. Not a shot. Anyways, Ringside Nation, it's been real. Peace.